Saying it was heading. Saying it was heading. Welcome to How You Learn. Okay, welcome to How You Learn Book Club. So welcome to the How You Learn Book Club. We're about to get started. Tonight we will be talking about Germany's Black Holocaust in 1890 to 1945. I got some books, some documents, some CIA documents, and I also got some pictures for you all too. So sit tight. We're gonna get started here in a second. We're gonna let some people get in, and then we're gonna get to going. So like the live, share the live, and if you're new to the page, hit that subscribe button. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Shout out to everybody that's in here so far. Germany's Black Holocaust. You can get this from archives.org. Put it in the comments. Okay, I'll give it a second. I'm letting people know that we live on YouTube. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me good too. I just want to make sure that the sound good. Everything straight. We talk about Germany's Black Holocaust. Daughters of the Most High was happening. Shalom, shalom. We're gonna be talking about Germany's Black Holocaust tonight. We got pictures, CIA documents. We're gonna read the passage in the book that talks about two Hitlers. It's gonna be a nice live. So if y'all could like the live, share the live when y'all in. For folks who probably don't know that we live over here, or people who you think might enjoy this, share it to them. We'll get started here in a second. We're gonna let a few more people get in here. Then we're gonna get started. Can y'all hear me good too? I just want to know if the sound and the volume and stuff is good too. Can y'all hear me straight? Lives Unplugged, what's happening? Glad you could tap in. Hard hitter, what's happening? I'm glad you could tune in. Right, I'm sharing it to the last few people on my end real quick, so we can go ahead and get started. Shout out to all the trolls that be coming to my YouTube page, going to my old videos too. I seen that earlier today on TikTok. The Pan Africans came all the way to my YouTube page to pick one of the oldest videos when I still had an afro and talking about Geechee. Screen recorded and showed it on their live. That's crazy. And they made a video about it. So it's funny. But I hope they learned something. All right, we're gonna get into it now. All right. What's happening? So we are talking about Germany's Black Holocaust of 1890, 1945, right? Germany's Black Holocaust. I hope y'all can see it. You know what I'm saying? On y'all end, is it big enough? Can y'all see it? Can y'all read it? Just want to make sure it's all good. This is what we're gonna be talking about. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and flip the page and go ahead and get started. So Germany's Black Holocaust. All right. So flipping the page. All right. So flipping the page, right? We're gonna go ahead and start. It says inhabited with their fellow German citizens who were YT But then something happened that completely changed forever. The salt and pepper mix that dotted the sophisticated social landscape. Soldiers of color on opposing sides, so-called Negroes, coloreds, blacks, and Afro-Americans are a few of the names that African Americans have accepted or adopted and later rejected in some cases. We already know. In the recent past, people or persons of color is one of the currently universally accepted terms, along with people or persons of African descent, right? Of course, the designation soldiers of color would, for some, bring Black American soldiers to mind, right? We're talking about us, to mind. However, as we shall see, when the phrase was used during World War II, Black soldiers from Africa, not America, were being referred to in the context of of the present discussion. All right. In fact, coming straight to the point, it was startling discover to the author to find that this was one of the labels that Hitler himself came up with for African soldiers who fought in the early part of World War II, particularly those who fought on the Germany soil. He called them soldiers of color. Yes, carefully concealed in the pages in history is the remarkable story of so-called Black African French soldiers, right? They talking about French. You know, they always gonna put that African on top of somebody that's dark, but we're talking about melanated French soldiers or Africans who grew up in France and now have a French citizenship, and you know how that shit goes. Soldiers of colors patrolling and controlling a region of Germany called Rhineland, a rich, highly industrialized area west of the Rhine River. You feel me? I'm gonna let it breathe. Saying it, Tab. Chippewa in the building. I said it was said, and we talking about Germany's Black Holocaust. All right. We talking about Germany's Black Holocaust. All right, talking about Germany's Black Holocaust real quick. And put that back up for a lot of folks who want to screenshot it, get it, archives.org. Um, so, all right. So, but before we continue any further and deeper into Germany's Black Holocaust, right? We gotta go back even further to America, right? So this is Germany's Black Holocaust in 1890. It's come to America a little bit further than that in the 1800s and simultaneously at the same time with that, right? So let's do a little breakdown. Do a little breakdown. So what's that, Jay? I got you in the building. So right here, before we go any further in Germany, we're gonna talk about this CIA document here, which talks about the Nazis in America or the American Nazi Party. All right. The American Nazi Party, the Nazis been here in America for a long time. I'm talking about for a long time. Uh, a lot of them got here from the Bering Strait as well too. Yeah, they coming from Russia. So a lot of them was over here a long time ago, being concealed or calling themselves different monikers in history, such as the Nationalist Party, and some of them was the American Society, American Colonizational Society, the Anglo-Saxons Club of America. They went by many names in history, But at the end of the day, they still are the same people. You feel me? Now, the interesting thing is that how they covered everything up. So they have the CIA document right here that pretty much breaks it down of the American Nazi Party. You know what I'm saying? The history, informants, they infiltrated it, they learned about it, and everything like that. So if y'all like that, y'all can go ahead and screenshot that. I would try to read it, but there's so many stuff that's whited out and blacked out. It ain't even gonna sound right if I try to read it to you. But you can also get this in archives.org as well too. Okay. I'll move it over real quick. That's CIA document right here. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit for y'all. There we go. And catch up in the comments who all here. So the CIA document about the Nazi American Party. What's happening, Chris? Glad you could tap in. Glad you could tap in. Shout out to everybody that's in here. If you're new to the page, hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified when I go live. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And tell some more people to come over here. He says it's good right there. Okay. So this is a CIA document. You can go to archives.org, type in American Nazi Party, and it's gonna pull up everything. You know, like for real. You can go to archives.org, type in American Nazi Party, and it's gonna pull up every single CIA document, book, everything that you really didn't think that would be there. That thing there, you know, and download it, read it the best as you can. They also used to hold marches and assemblies for the Nazis back then. This is right here is in 1963. So we're gonna go back a little further though. Let me show y'all some pictures. I appreciate everybody for in here, for coming in here. So, you know, so they got pictures of, they got all types of pictures of these folks just walking the street, storming the street, everything of the such. I said it. OG, my she in the building. Yeah, I cut my microphone off on TikTok on purpose. I did it on purpose. So, you know, they got pictures of them storming the streets in the 60s, the 50s, the 40s. You can go even further back. Okay. You can go even further back to maps. You know what I'm saying? You can go even further back into maps. You know, symbolism will be their downfall, right? So of course you got the swastika over there. You got the sovereign hammer and hook thing, and then you also got the totalitarian fascia that, you know, David always be talking about on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So you got three kind of more likely important symbolizations of America, of a lot of folks who was actually here. When you break away from the social construct and you really get to the root of everything and start unmasking and uncovering a lot of stuff, you'll start to see who's really at the root and who's been here for a while. Yeah, Like I said, the Nazis and Russians, Germans, they all been here for a while. They've been here about as long as the Native Americans because they all came here together. You know, they all one people genetically, and they all came here together. You know, the Native Americans know, the Native Americans know. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. The Native Americans know. It's a whole Nazi flag they represent. And it ain't just this one picture, there's a lot of them in history. So they know. So don't ever ask, like, why are they treating us this way? Why y'all so racist? Why they do? You gotta look, man. It's a long history. You gotta understand. You gotta understand who was really up under those Klan masks. You gotta understand who were burning crosses in your yard too. It wasn't just Billy Bob, Connor, and Karen. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just them. A lot of these folks up under the mask doing that. Feel me? Quan, what's happening? Glad you could tap in, big dog. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We talking about Germany's Black Holocaust and Nazis in America. Okay. So we're gonna get back to the book. I'm gonna say a few little pictures. I just wanna, what I'm saying, put it there, put the picture inside your head. So let's get back to the book real quick though. And we're gonna continue breaking it down. Can y'all see that? Yeah, appreciate that, Chris. I tried to do this on TikTok. That thing almost got my band permanently, almost got my page permanently banned. Can y'all see those words? Do I need to make it bigger? I'm saying that OG Tribe, I see you. Glad you could tap in. So when we turn the page into this book called Germany's Black Holocaust, it's going to talk about two Hitlers. All right. There's a so-called Black Hitler, and then there's the white Hitler, right? He said, make it bigger, got you. Mm-hmm. There we go. Okay, cool. So when you turn to this page, there's a chapter here, and it's entitled "Enemy Black Soldiers that occupy Germany twice." You have one Black Hitler and one white Hitler, and we're gonna go ahead and start the reading real quick. So let me full screen mine real quick. So now it says this. It says the Jew Hitler admired and the Black Hitler devoured, right? Damn. A lot of us didn't even know it was two Hitlers. A lot of us, for one, they called him a Jew Hitler at that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he a Jew. And a lot of folks knew that Hitler was a Jew. And a Jew just means that you are a follower of Judaism. I don't know where people think Jew means nationality, but Jew is not a nationality. It just means that you're a follower of Judaism, just like a Christian is a follower of Christ type ordeal. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know why folks even think that that's a nationality, but that's one of the tricks that they do. But that's neither here or there. So the Jew Hitler admired, the Black Hitler devoured, right? So Hitler's appraisal of Jews, by and large, was considerably different and distinct from the Nazi assignment of Africans and their descendants. Note how one Nazi official reflecting the party line made this point when discussing the matter. On June 20th, 1939, months before the start of World War II, Fisher indicated something about Nazi racial attitudes when he stated, "I do not categorize every Jew as inferior, as I do Negroes, and I do not underestimate the greatest enemy with whom we have to fight." Right? So they're not underestimating so-called Negroes. You scroll down. Not every Jew was inferior. A logical segue would be that Hitler and the Nazis even considered some Jews superior. As outlandish as that may sound, collectively, the Jews were considered to be the greatest enemy with whom the Nazis have to fight. Hitler called the Jew the mightiest counterpart to the Aryan, as quoted below. There was the most There was almost a reverential respect for the Jews by the Nazis, just as today's neo-Nazis and diverse other white supremacist groups secretly admire the Jews. Secretly admire the Jews. Now, at this time frame in the 1800s, 1890s, who is the Jews? Who is the Jews? See, they playing with people's mentals on this one. So who's the Jews at this time? All right. We talking about Germany's Black Holocaust of 1890s to 1950s or 1945s. Who was the Jews at this time? What did Hitler say? Yeah, I remember that speech Hitler said, right? So Pete Gang, a certain group wrote themselves into your place after a while. You know what I'm saying? A certain group wrote themselves into your place after a while. They wasn't there. A specific group was not in those concentration camps at this time. So who are they talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Who are they talking about? So Pete Gang. So there's two type of melanated people that's being held in these concentration camps. All right. You have Africans and you have Jews who are melanated Jews, right? So a very interesting example of Hitler's estimation of one Jew in particular may come to mind of a few of those familiar with to the story. As amazing as it may seem, Adolf Hitler in 1889 to 1945 himself studied the writings of a Jew he greatly admired. In the line with what has been stated above, he even went so far as categorized the Jew as superior. Now, one of the Jews that they're talking about as well, as we continue reading, I think I screenshotted it. They would be talking about, Jesse Owens too. But I ain't gonna go that far right now. Let's flip the page. All right. Shout out to everybody that's in here. You catch up in the comments. Right, she knocking. Finally caught a live. Was in there, Abbott. Okay, that's where the mix up is. I thought they whitewashed Hitler, but they replaced him. Yeah, you can say that they replaced him, or there's two Hitlers at this time. All right, you got the dude with the funny mustache that we all know, and then you have a melanated one that people that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So Hitler already said America had the real Jew. Yeah. P gang. That's why they so accepting when they claim. Yeah, because because you remember that the Ukrainians, right? The Ukrainians and all them folks was going to the reservations way back in like 1920s, early 1800s that I showed y'all. Remember when I showed y'all that the Ukrainians been going to the reservations posing as natives for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So Pete game on that too. So let's get back to it. So, excuse me. This specific Jew, to be sure, was the exception to the rule. Instead of quoting some third party as to just how Hitler felt about our mysterious but very famous Jew accidentally, it is not Jesus Christ we will hear from Hitler himself. All right. He said, I began to study again, and now for the first time really achieve an understanding of the content of the Jew Karl Marx life efforts, right? This is an Ashkenazi that he's talking about. If you know who Karl Marx is, that's an Ashkenazi. All right, so that's an Ashkenazi. Actually, Karl Marx was the only one among millions who, with the sure eye of the prophet, recognized in the Morris of a slowly decomposing world the most essential presence, extracted them, and like a wizard prepared them into the concentration solutions for the swifter annihilation of the independent existence of free nations of this world. Free nations of this world. All right. They compared concentration camps for a swifter annihilation of the independent existence of the free nations on this world, right? So the concentration camps that they set up, not just in Germany, but a lot of other places at the same time while this was going on, such as you could say boarding schools as well too, residential schools, reservations, ghettos, projects, all this shit was going on around the world simultaneously. So they did this to put free nations in there, right? Free nations. Now, let's go back to some pictures real quick. Free nations. Free nations, free nations. You know, at one point in time, America was a Republican. At one point in time, America was a Republican. It was a free nation. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. America was a free nation. It was a Republican. Republican and republic is tied to sovereignty. So it's tied to it, right? So this map is called the fifth column, Menace America on 1,000 Fronts. And when you pull it up yourself and you can see it better on your end, I'm just doing the name, y'all can screenshot it. But when you put it up on your end and you can read the map lists, the key points and stuff like that, it'll break down who the swastika is, who's the sovereign, hammer and hook, and the fachet that David be showing, like I showed folks too. It'll break all that down on the key maps and stuff. But these folk been here though. They've been trying to colonize a free nation. America has been a free nation. It's been a republic, right? And during the republic times, right? Beyond the republic times, you know, you have the Bellamy salute, right? The Bellamy salute. I'm trying to see if I have it. Okay, no, I don't have it on here. So the Bellamy salute. Let me zoom in so y'all can see him. Let me zoom in so y'all can see him real good, right? So the Bellamy salute was created right when the Pledge of Allegiance was created in America. And the Pledge of Allegiance was created in Chicago during the World Fair times, the World Fair of Columbia times. We were still a sovereign, free enterprise, republic nation. It was still being ran by y'all know who. You know what I'm saying? You gotta who they disenfranchised in history. They disenfranchised the American Negro in history, right? So the republic was us because when you learn who started the Republican and who was the Democrats, then you'll understand when they say from one nation under God, you know what I'm saying, to the republic of which it stands. So that's what they would be saying when they saying the pledge right here with the Bellamy salute. You know what I'm saying? For the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Yeah, all that. This is what they doing right here. And the Pledge of Allegiance and the Bellamy salute was created in mid 1800s in Chicago during the World Fair days. And that's how you would salute the flag. So I told y'all Germany got a lot of stuff from over here, and they incorporate into their stuff. What's that? Oh, in the building. Yeah, counterpart to the area, yeah. So so they did the Bellamy salute here. Like I said, it was created in the World Fair Days in Chicago, and the Bellamy salute and the Pledge of Allegiance all goes hand in hand. I got a couple more pictures of the Bellamy salute, and y'all can pull up the Bellamy salute for yourselves too, and see it on y'all end. Yeah. Peace was happening, sister Soul, sister Soul in the building. So yeah, so this how people was pledging allegiance in the early 1800s before dude with the funny mustache was even born. All right, before he was even born, this is how we was saluting the flag, saying the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff. All right, during the incubator baby times, peep game, peep game, during incubator baby times, during the repopulation of America times, right? World Fair times. We already know what's happening. So we was doing that for a while until eventually they stopped the Pledge of Allegiance. They stopped the Bellamy salute. And then when you pledge of allegiance, now you put your hand over your heart because now you inside of a democracy. Everything is a symbol that they was doing to us while we was kids. This was a symbol. We didn't even know it. Then that you put your hand over your heart, that's a symbol. We didn't even know it as kids. And eventually you don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance in school no more. You know what I'm saying? Kids don't even say the Pledge of Allegiance in school no more. So that shit just took it out of school all the way. What's happening? Tip in the building. Mm-hmm. Um, it's all type of maps about it too. One of the TV shows that I'm watching that I like is one of the TV shows that I'm watching that I like is The Man in the High Castle. The Man in the High Castle talks about the American Nazis. It talks about the American Nazis. It talk about the Nazis actually won the war on the low, and they just covered it up with false history to cover up so they can maneuver how they gonna maneuver. And it talks about all type of stuff, and we already know that when they create these type of movies, pay attention to the sign symbols and the maps. You know what I'm saying? Because I just showed you a real map before I showed you this map that they got on the TV show, and it says a lot. And we already know that over there towards the West Coast and California regions, we know what's up with the Pacific Islands and Athabascans, and all of our folks on that end. And then when you come to the East Coast, we already know what's up with Ellis Island and Operation Paperclip and Athabascans again, because Athabascans are tied to the Nazis. They are genetically the same people. You know what I'm saying? So a dope little map. If y'all want to screenshot it, you can. It's up here for a little minute. I'll catch up in the comments. Metaphysician, what's happening? The pledge always drained me in the morning when going to school. That never felt right for some reason. Yeah, I already know the swastika was ours. Uh, Yeah, they took our symbols. It's why I tell people a lot of the symbols that people think are evil, demonized, came from the YT people and stuff like that. It ain't like that. A lot of these symbols was ours. Even when you talk about the cross was ours. The Ankh is ours because everything has a duality to it. So if you have a symbol of life, you got to have a symbol of death. So it was duality. So we would use the Ankh and the cross when when our people would pass on and go to the next life. That's when the cross and the cemetery go on. When people are born and everything like that, then that's when you represent the Ankh. So there's places and times for each symbols, and there's always a duality and a counterpart for each symbol. So the swastika, the cross, the Ankh. The little lightning bolts that they be parading around, the Confederate flag, all this stuff is ours. But the spoils of war. After you disenfranchise and conquer the people, you take their shit and then you fly it in their face. And the thing about an ethnocide is that we've been so far ethnocided that we don't even know that those are our symbols. Those are our shit. So it's like me robbing you for your J's and putting them on in your face the next day in school and walking around in front of your J's. But I ethnocided you so bad that you don't even know that these your shoes anymore. You know what I'm saying? So not only that I robbed you, I gave you amnesia and I'm just parading around in your shit. You know, and they took our sigils of magic because a lot of these are magical symbols and everything that was tied to our spiritual practices. So they take our magical sigils and they flip it on us, because magic is all about the intentions. So you can flip positive energy with negative energy. You can flip negative energy into positive energy. It's always a duality and a polarity to things. So they just took our good symbols and flipped them on us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's a good consolation. In fact, my children weren't allowed to say the pledge. See? Mm-hmm. I ain't never really liked saying the pledge either. Shit, my bad, y'all. I ain't really like saying the pledge either, but I know that the pledge was created by us for the country because we was the Republican and we was running shit. So the Bellamy salute was created by the Republican Party, with the Pledge of Allegiance, which was created by the Republican Party, which is us. Um, and then the ethnocide happened. So, but by the time we become children and going to school, the Rothschilds and already took our stuff, flipped it, and made it negative. So that's why when we went to school and started saying it, it started draining us. It started making us feel weird. Like your day was pretty much bad after that. For real, for real. If you paid attention, you like, man, I don't really feel this shit. What's happening, though? Throw in the building. So yeah, so this is a dope little map. If y'all wanna screenshot this while I flip it. And we're gonna get back to the book. We're gonna get back to the book in a minute, showing y'all in between things. Bruce Wayne was saying Prince Dread. It is easy to find me, Prince Dread. Signs are for the conscious mind, man. You know what I'm saying? You can find me anywhere and everywhere. Signs are for the conscious mind. But there's another book. I say, archives.org. There's another book that you can get called The Big Lie, Exposing the Nazi Roots of American Left. Um, Tap into that too. It's a dope book. I'll leave this up here for a little minute. The book is amazing. So this is a dope little book called Exposing the Nazi Roots of the American Left. And it's gonna run it all the way down from here to Russia and Germany. And it's gonna bring it back here to America as well too. And it's gonna go back to Nazi and Germany. They both look, them folks learn everything from over here. So this book is dope. You can get it, read it, archives.org. I highly suggest it. Okay. Cosmic Paradox in the building was happening. I go live on here when I'm talking about stuff like, the Nazis and Hitler and shit. Cause with YouTube, I can actually say the name and show the pictures a little bit more. I got a little free range to show the pictures, the pages and shit like that. Versus TikTok, when I try to do Nazi information on TikTok, they was like, nah. They were like, nah, bro. You already know you can't talk about that here. So I come to my YouTube for those topics that I can't talk about on TikTok. So, we be going back and forth here and there. You and Lord Natural always digging deep into those archives. Definitely, man. Shout out to the brother Naturalism Yahweh, man. Him, Opium. Shit, we like the big three of TikTok's most wanted. Them boys hate us. For real. Anytime they see any one of us, oh boy, do all that. Them folks hate us. Yeah, definitely. They definitely gonna block me on this topic. I've actually been blocked a few times on this topic. And I've been waiting to come back to do this for a minute. So like I showed y'all before, you'll be surprised who's connected. So like I showed y'all, y'all will be surprised who's connected. You know what I'm saying? So y'all will be surprised who's connected, who's a Nazi. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Nazi is a bloodline, Ashkenazi. So it's a bloodline. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be surprised who's tied to genetically and everything like that. So now you know when you go live and you talk about your history of the ethnocide, a lot of people be gaslighting you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be gaslighting you when these folks be up here talking about anti-Semitism and stuff like that. They don't even know that those ain't even the real people. You'll be surprised who these Ashkenazis are and who these so-called Jewish people are behind scenes, behind closed doors. You'll be surprised who these folks is. But a lot of people never did the research. They don't even know the family tree. They don't even know the names Khazarian Empire or the Khazars. They don't know none of these names. So, ignorance is not bliss, because by you not knowing, it's the reason why this ethnocide happened. It's the reason why this social construct keep going around. It's the reason why fake history keep being talked about and all that type of stuff like that. So you'll be surprised. So this is why I tell a lot of my Israelite brothers and sisters out there to ease up off Esau for a minute and start looking at Japhet. You know what I'm saying? When you talk about, and I be looking at them like they'll call Ashkenazi Jews Esau, and I'm like, y'all got that shit wrong. Them boys is not Esau. A lot of this shit coming from Japhet, Gog and Magog and all them. You know what I'm saying? For lack of better terms, for them to understand. I speak their language, but you be surprised, man. Stop looking at Esau all the time. Look at Japhet. Japhet running shit. They don't want this pick on the clock app. Nah, they don't. I showed this picture one time on TikTok, but the natives got mad at the motherfucker. They was like, it's Photoshop. I was like, this is Photoshop for real? It's Photoshop. Them boys scream out Photoshop for everything. It's Photoshop. Photoshop, okay. Check out the book, The Invention of the Jewish People. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, I'm gonna type that in right here. I definitely look that in. I didn't even know it was a book about that. I wonder if that book got something to do. I wonder if I can connect that book with the Roman invention of Jesus Christ. Invention of Jewish people. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that. Shout out to everybody that's in here. I appreciate that. Like the live, share the live. If you're new to the page and you like this type of information, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified every time I go live. I really do appreciate y'all. This is the second official live that we've been having, and everything's been going smooth and everything. Nah, Esau wasn't the original wild man. Esau was just an albino version of his brother Jacob. That's all that is. He was hairy because, a lot of albinos can come out hairy. It's a recessive thing. When you talk about Neanderthals and the wild men, that's more of Japhet, because that's where Neanderthals kind of really came from. When you talk about the Caucasus Mountains and all of that, that's the tribe of Japhet. That's Khazar territory and stuff like that. Gog and Magog, Native Americans, Siberians, and all that. That's all of that area. So you still talking about Japhet. Um, Esau was just a hairy albino version of Jacob. They twins. Yeah. So you gotta always remember that Esau and Jacob are twins. So one can't be a wild man and the other one's not. You feel me? But yeah, I hope that made sense a little bit. By Shalomo Sand. Hold on. See, by Shalomo. Shalomo. Okay. Mm-hmm. Shalomo Sand. Okay, Shalomo Sand. Gotcha. Copy and paste that to my notebook. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that tonight, definitely. Cause I didn't even know it was a book. In that book, they talk about most Jews actually descend from converts, whose native lands were scattered far across the Middle East and Eastern Europe as the Khazar Empire. Yup, definitely. Yeah. Don't tell me no more. I'm gonna get that book. Don't tell me no more. I'm gonna definitely go get that book. Cause that's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. So let's get back to this. Finish reading the last few pages that I screenshotted on this topic real quick. I want to show y'all this too before we get back to the book. Y'all want to look up into this dude right here, Elwood Alfred Towner of 1897 to 1954, famously known as Chief Red Cloud. He was a Native American supporter of Adolf Hitler and Nazism. He was also a staunch fighter for the Native American rights and an ally of German American Bond, aka the Nazi American Party that I showed y'all during the 1930s and 40s. So the more you keep digging into Native Americans and Nazism, you start to learn and find out that a lot of them believed in this shit because they are these people. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about YT supremacy, oh shit, I'm on YouTube. So when you talk about white supremacy, again, who all is under that umbrella? Who all was wearing those masks back in those days as Klanmen? You know what I'm saying? Who always drinking from these white water fountains while we was drinking from the colors? You got to really start thinking and letting your mind jaw. And I'm gonna tell you something about Mr. Elwood Alfred Towner. He took that name, Chief Red Cloud, because if you go research who Chief Red Cloud is, you're gonna get an older Native American. All right, you're gonna get an older Native American from 1807. Right, so there's a Chief Red Cloud of 1807, and then you have this Elwood Alfred Towner dude calling himself as Chief Red Cloud in the 1930s. Right, so that's the hijack of how they be trying to substitute people in history like that. Yeah, it go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Japhet and how you spell it, run shit, and Esau they puppets. There you go, Tab. Yup. Esau they puppets. Definitely. Because Esau land was over there in Rome and all that area. The great, the real Britons and the Etruscans. So when the Ashkenazis was conquering their way over here through the Anglo-Saxons or, the Christian conquest or whatever label you want to go by in history, it's all the same people. So while they conquering their way over, they tried to breed out Esau, um, or they just, if Esau didn't want to convert over, they would persecute them, breed them out. They'll try to breed them out and shit like that. But if they did convert over, then they just became their puppets. So, the history of Esau go deep too. So instead of like a lot of folks demonizing who Esau is, a lot of folks should actually research his side of history and just link it all together. Like we always told y'all, it's a big jigsaw puzzle. So, if y'all want to screenshot this, you can. And like I said, there's two chief red clouds back then. You have this imposter here, and then you have the real one of 1807, who was swarthy at the basket. You know what I'm saying? But, they all the same people. When will you say them Mongolians arrived and took our identity? Well, the Athabascans arrived when they said they arrived, like 10,000 years ago. And they've been living with us and amongst us ever since. But an Athabascan is a Caucasian and an East Asian together. So that's what makes an Athabascan or / Native American. So they was already mixed when they came over here. And they mixed a long time ago in Eurasia. So it takes a Caucasian and an East Asian to give you your current Native Americans or Athabascans, and so with that being said, you have the mixture of both of them coming over here. And then you also had the Caucasian, the Anglo-Saxons, the Germans, the Russians, and the East Asians also coming over here at the same time as their children coming over here about 10,000 years ago. So a lot of these folks been here for a long ass time, and they've been waging war on the Mississippians. Some of them wasn't raging war. Some of them was actually victims running, seeking refuge, and a lot of them was accepted into our tribes. A lot of us adopted their kids. A lot of us helped them out. And when we adopted them into our tribes, they start taking on our culture, our names, and everything like that. But eventually, they flipped on us, and you know what I'm saying? And y'all know the history on that when you did disenfranchise the Negro. So that's just a little quick rundown on the history of that. Just because I don't really like to lump all of them together. Some of them was on our side, and some of them was on their side. But at the end of the day, they all ended up taking our identity and shit. And then you have those who scared to speak up. So, I hope that make a little more sense to you too. So I would say officially, if you want a year and a date, I would say that they start taking our identity in the 1800s. Like officially documented and written, it was like 1800s when they started taking our identities and shit. And they took our identities all around the world. From America to South America, they took our identities in Germany, England, Britain, Ireland, anywhere that you see a predominantly YT presence in, they definitely took the identities of the original inhabitants of that landmass. And the indigenous inhabitants of those landmasses is still there. They just don't show y'all. They keep them hidden, but they still there. Melanated people, those lands are still there. You just got to search hard for them. So I just want to show y'all that real quick. Now we can get back to the last page of this book real quick. Oh yeah, here we go. I want to read this too. This is going back into the CIA documents. So this is going back into the CIA documents, Operation Order 66 in 1800s. I'm gonna look that up all around the same time. Yup, though simultaneously. Who was created in order between the Caucasian and the Asian? They're talking about the original people per se. The Asians came before the Caucasians. Yeah, the Caucasians is one of the youngest people on this earth. They fairly new, unless you talk about the melanated ones. But if you're talking about the fair skinned ones that we have today, those are pretty much the newest people to this realm of existence. But our but Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and Bruce Lee, and all them folk like that, those type of Asians, yeah, they older than Caucasians. But we're gonna go back to this CIA document that's talking about the Nazi American Party in America real quick, because I forgot I want to read this to y'all, and I hope y'all can see it. And the apex part of it, this is a real CIA document. Like I said, you can type in American Nazi Party in archives.org, and it's gonna bring up all CIA documents, books, all type of shit. So they also called themselves Christian Nationalist Crusades. All right. They also call themselves Christian Nationalist Crusades, Crusaders, right? A source advised in August the 12th, 1959, that the Christian Nationalist Crusades, or the CNC, was organized in St. Louis, Missouri in 1947 and moved its headquarters to Glendale, California in 1953, where it continued to be located that from the parent CNC subsidiary organizations, including the Christian Nationalist Party of America, have included, it had included the Christian Nationalist Party of America, have developed, and that these organizations all reflect in their literature the imprint of their chief organizer and director, Gerald L.K. Smith, right? Gerald L.K. Smith, whose basic argument has been that Christian, this nation traditionally Christian, all right, and racially segregated, is threatened by anti-Christian and racially or radically marginalization forces such as communism and internationalism, all dominantly motivated by international Jewry, which controls this country financially and politically. We're gonna stop right there. What they say? What they say? Hold on. What they said? What? you know, they said that all dominantly motivated by internationally Jewry, which controls this country. International Jewry, international Jews, Jewish people, Ashkenazis. Who created who created Hollywood? CIA. Who runs Hollywood? Ashkenazi Jews, right? So if the Ashkenazi Jews run Hollywood and CIA created Hollywood, who runs the CIA? Ashkenazi Jews, right? Follow the paper trails, money wise and book wise, right? We're gonna continue going though. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Okay. Blow it up for y'all. Okay, there we go. And blow it up for y'all real quick. I ain't know if y'all can see it or not. Yep, Crusaders. I always said the whole world are a part of the cover up of who we really are. Ah, yeah, they definitely are. Economic monopoly. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. So it was motivated by international Jewry, which controls this country financially and politically. And these organizations are not membership organizations. They're not membership organizations, but represent followers who contribute to them or subscribe to their literature. Although Gerald L.K. Smith and his associates are not known to have appealed to illegal action. The tenor of their statements and programs is anti-Semitic, as indirectly indicated by the slogan of the Christian Nationalist Party. Okay. Of the Christian Nationalist Party. The Christian Nationalist Party announced in 1950, which was one faith, one race, one nation. That sound familiar, right? One world government, new world order. That shit sound familiar, right? So the Christian Nationalist Party in 1950, their slogan is one faith, one race, one nation. The cross and the flag is the copyrighted monthly official organ of the Christian Nationalist Crusade and Party. The National Political Committee, Box Office, Post Office 27895, Los Angeles 27, California. Published by Gerald L.K. Smith and edited by, of course, they blanked it out. They don't want you to know who else had a hand in this shit. You feel me? Shout out to the CIA documents, but you letting us know everything we need to know, though. You know, addresses, names, and everything. So this why I be like, bro, how folks can say that we be teaching pseudo? I mean, we even give you an address if you want to pull up. You know what I'm saying? So check it out. Peace was happening to you. Latia in the building. So now we're gonna slide over here. Right, we're gonna slide over here. You know, from New York to Los Angeles, the American Nazi Party, racial matters. This is a letter to them. Of course, they're gonna white. They're gonna block it out a lot. You know, so this is another part of the letter. Enclosed herewith for Richmond and New York are 2 copies of the insert reflecting information developed by the Los Angeles concerning blank. This information will be included in a report to be submitted by Los Angeles in the near future because of the information developed to the effect that New York has been attending meetings of the American Nazi Party in Los Angeles and appear to be active in this organization. You know, the identity of the sources, you know, they got it blank, written report blank, and orally blank. You know, they don't really want you to know shit, you feel me? But like I said, y'all giving us all we need to know so far. So it's all good. All right, let's get back to it. So now getting back to the book, Germany's Black Holocaust of 1898 to 1945. Let's continue going. So now, yes, quite surprisingly, Karl Marx, 1818 and 1883 was Hitler's man. Not that blacks and some have every sought Hitler's endorsement. The point is that he certainly never said anything like that about any black person anywhere at any time. What was more, a few Jews with Hitler's approval were even allowed to become Nazis. All right. Even in the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin, where he witnessed firsthand the feats of the so-called African American, the feats of the African American track star and soon to be Olympic gold medalist Jesse Owens outpaced the superior field and track German athletes. Hitler did not acknowledge what the whole world witnessed. That you're not superior, big dog. That's a false sense. You guys are nowhere near superior to us. Nah, hell no. You feel me? But we understand that. Hitler's hatred of blacks extended to black athletes. When Jesse Owens, the American track star, not African, when Jesse Owens, the American track star, won 3 gold medals at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, Hitler refused to be present when the medals was presented. Around the same time where Around the same time there was the heavyweight fight with the wartime implications between the Nazi Aryan Max Schmeling and the African American brown bomber Joe Louis. Whooping ass, right? Actually, there was 2 fights between these men. Because of the serious overtones of the 2 historic battles between these modern day gladiators, sports writer Dave Kendrick wrote the following. Right? He wrote the following. What he say? He said Max Schmeling, a German, had knocked out Lewis in the 12th round of the fight in 1936. The next year, Lewis had won the heavyweight championship. Early in 1938, the world teetered on the brink of World War II, and Lewis and Schmeling rematch had became a metaphor of the coming war. More than any other sport event, a fight can be landing with meaning beyond itself. Never has any fight carried more symbolic weight than this fight in June 22nd, 1938. Symbolizations would be their downfalls, even in sports. He said I wasn't ready. Yup. Hitler was pissed. Yup. The only Jesse I recognize, right though. This the only Jesse I recognize too, man. I don't know. But yeah. So, that was part one of Germany's Black Holocaust. Like the whole world was in on it, definitely. The whole world was in on it, definitely. And this is part one of Germany's Black Holocaust. We would do a part two. Um, we would definitely do a part two. But I just want to go ahead and prime it up for YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to drop too much on a lot of folks. I want to drop some gems here, let it digest. You did. So I hope y'all enjoyed that presentation of that. There's something else I wanted to show. Just to go over to as well, just in case you missed it when we covered it on the last live. Hoodoo is an indigenous practice. It's indigenous to America. It's Trust me, we can pull out all type of CIA documents. Inside this document, it breaks down on how hoodoo is an indigenous Black American practice, not a Black African, not an African. It's an indigenous Black American practice. It's our spirituality. So, we ran that down, It broke down the difference between a voodoo doctor and a hoodoo doctor. Um, it also broke down the similarities of voodoo, Santeria, and every other indigenous spirituality practice around here. And it gets deep with it. Melville Herstovitz had his hand in demonizing it, you know, right when they was demonizing you, because hoodoo was never seen as bad until the late 19th century, which is the late 1800s. You know what I'm saying? So that's when it started being a symbol of bad luck in the late 1800s, the late 1880s, 1890s, where you're being ethnocided, your culture being destroyed, you being disenfranchised, demonized, and everything like that. So peep game. So it's a dope article. If y'all want to screenshot this, read it in your own time. It's pretty dope. You got a lot of gems in there. What's happening, Kimmy? Kimmy in the building. So shout out to everybody that's in here, man. I appreciate that. Like the live, share the live. If you're new to the page, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every time I go live. Make sure you hit that bell. I appreciate y'all for being in here. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. I hope, drop some gems. Hope you picked up some gems. Hope, you learned something that you didn't know. Hope I, did a good job tonight. You feel me? I just want to make sure, we all leave with something. I don't want people to leave even more in suspense or confusion. Somebody on TikTok asked what the YouTube channel is. Oh man, bless everybody heart. Bless everybody heart. Shout out to everybody though. Bless their heart, man. Sounds for the conscious mind, bit dog. Mm. So just to go over everything, so we talked about Germany's Black Holocaust. Hoodoo is an indigenous practice. There's a mountain, there's a mountain in Utah that's called the Hoodoos, which is named directly from Hoodoo spirituality. They don't have right, so it's a mountain in Utah named the Hoodoos, which derive from the Hoodoo spirituality, in which certain natural forms are said to possess certain powers. It's pretty dope. I want to try and schedule a trip over there. I want to see what these Hoodoo structures look like. And your spirituality goes deep. That hoodoo go deep. Even when you look up the name hoodoos, as in the mountain that I showed you, hoodoos, it's a plural form of hoodoo, and it's literally an Indian sign. Indian sign. That definition, when it says something that brings bad luck, that is a new definition, because in the late 19th century, that's when it became associated with bad luck. So dodge the hijack, but just know that hoodoo is tied to Indian. And just like I showed you inside that documents, it is an indigenous Black American practice as well too. Africans don't do this. So yeah, I heard Utah was beautiful too. I want to go check it out. I want to check it out too as well. Let's see. Just recapping everything for those who missed the live the other day. Just in case you missed the live from the other day, we just recapping for everything. So it was saying that. Oh, so so recently for these new lives on YouTube, we didn't cover Germany's Black Holocaust. Well, we covered part one of Germany's Black Holocaust. Uh, I showed y'all the Native Americans with the Nazi flag. I can go back to that real quick because I want to do a recap real quick. You know, I want to do the recap real quick. All right. So yeah, I want to do the what's happening, Mr. Fresh. So I want to do the recap real quick. So today and yesterday, so far we covered so Germany's Black Holocaust. There's two Hitlers. There was a Jew Hitler and there was a Black Hitler. Um, let's see. It's tied to the American Nazi Party that was here in America. It's still here in America too. So it's tied to the American Nazi Party. Go do y'all research on that as well too. They went by many names such as the Christian Nationalist Party, Anglo-Saxons Club of America, so on and so forth. The White League, and the Klan, neo-Nazi, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So they was already, so they was here. Um, So it's tied to the American Nazi Party. You got Native Americans who's part of the American Nazi Party. They still represent that shit still to this day. Um, we also covered all right. We also covered pictures. We also covered pictures of them here marching down the street together. That's why I tell you that American flag is the real symbolization of white supremacy. The Confederate flag is not. The Confederate flag was ours, and it's not a symbol of white supremacy. They hijacked it. The real symbol of white supremacy is the American flag. When you look at past KKK pictures, they always fly the American flag. It's even written in their old handbook and banner that the American flag is the white supremacy flag. You know what I'm saying? So that is theirs. This is why you go into a neighborhood full of American flags. You be like, bro, I feel like I'm about to get lynched in this bitch. You already know what's about to go down. You just know, and you can see it. So they always gonna be side by side. So we covered that as well. That's the American Nazi Party. Um, we covered the Bellamy salute. Before dude with the funny mustache and Nazi Germany, we was doing it first. It was created here. The Bellamy salute and the Pledge of Allegiance was created here in Chicago during the World Fair, the World Columbian Fair in Chicago. That's where the Bellamy salute and the Pledge of Allegiance was created. Big facts, that American flag is definitely a symbol of white supremacy, most definitely. Yeah, the war flag, exactly, Cosmic. Mm-hmm. 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 Gold mine area. That's deep. You said, can you break down the Confederate flag and what it stood for? I'm gonna leave that one for you to break down. Um, you also got maps. We also got maps about it. You know, Confederacy is just tied to your sovereignty at the end of the day. It's tied to your sovereignty, Confederate, Republican, all of that is the opposite of a democratic communism state. So just think the opposite. Well, one is think the opposite of what the other, then you'll understand what the Confederate and the Republican is and what it stood for. You know, I used to fly one with my Marine Corps flag. I won't anymore though. Yeah, yeah. I know Prince Dread. You know, I am the professor here. You know what I'm saying? But you know, the teacher always give homework, so that's your homework. You know, I always got to give homework, so that's your homework. That is your homework for the night. You know, research the Confederate and what it means beyond YT people stealing it from you. So research the original meaning of it. Here's another book in archives.org. If you want to get this, screenshot this and check it out. It's in archives.org too. It talks about it as well too. George Lincoln Rockwell and the American Nazi Party. Pretty dope. You know, it's a pretty dope book. It breaks down even more into depth what we talk about, what we just talked about tonight. The connection that the Nazis always been here. The Nazis is running shit. They lied to you in history, talking about the Nazis lost and shit like that. These folks are the same people, you know. So think about it. So at this time frame where you have American Nazi Party in America, it's the same time you got Operation Paperclip happening, which is the same time where they telling you that, you know, World War II and shit like that, like we going over there to save the Ashkenazi Jews. They are the same fucking people. So you bring in Ashkenazi Jews and Nazis over here on the same boat. You know what I'm saying? Big Natural in the building. What's happening? Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you for telling me how to set this up. You know, so you telling me that they bring in Operation Paperclip, so they bring in Ashkenazis and Nazis over this motherfucker. You feel me? At the same time, but the people who's bringing these folks over here are descendants of these folks. You know, and man, it's a big cover up. You know, it's a big cover up. But we uncovering everything. So this is a dope book in archives.org to get to. George Lincoln Rockwell, the American Nazi Party. You know, and remember this dude Elwood Alfred Towner, who is famously known as Chief Red Cloud, who he hijacked that name because again, if you type in Chief Red Cloud, you're going to find the real Chief Red Cloud of 1807. So this dude here is an imposter. He stole that name. But again, he was a Native American supporter of Adolf Hitler and Nazism. And he also was a fighter for Native American rights. And he allied with German American, Nazi American Party. And a lot of them did. So this is one reason why a lot of them is racist to you on the app and shit like that, because a lot of them descend from shit like this and they know this. But again, he hijacked that name and, you know, they tried to do a old switcheroo. Yeah, you're fake ass chief. Yeah. So they tried to do a old switcheroo in history by calling him a famously known Chief Red Cloud when there's already a famously known Chief Red Cloud all the way back in the 1807s. You know, so Pete Gang. But again, like we showed everybody, the Ukrainians have been living amongst Ethnobascans on the reservations as early as the 1800s. And the Ukrainians is genetically the same people as such Ethnobascans. All right. So they are genetically the same people, and they are Russians. You feel me? They are Russians. You feel me? Yeah, gatekeeper. You can call them a gatekeeper. Yeah, don't tread on me. The one with the serpent, definitely. Um, let's see. So okay, so like I said, okay, so now yesterday's live, like I showed y'all again, I'm gonna do it again because repetition is the father of learning. Uh, Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. Just okay. Repetition is the father of learning. There's a document that says Hoodoo is an indigenous medicine psychiatric practice of the Black American. Inside this document, it always refers to Hoodoo as being an indigenous Black American culture or an indigenous Native Black American culture or indigenous culture. It always referred to it as that. It don't say nothing about Africa about it, but Afrocentrists will hijack your shit in a heartbeat. So, you know what I'm saying? So watch that. But it is definitely indigenous. And you still do hoodoo still to this day and you don't even know it. Throwing rice over your shoulders. Don't like it. You don't like your feet swept with the broom. In marriage, when you jumping the broom is also a hoodoo practice. And a lot of people don't know that shit because Eurocentrists then hijacked your shit too. But jumping the broom is a hoodoo practice. Burning your hair after you comb it, picking and stuff like that, burning your hair, that's also hoodoo. Burning sage is also tied to hoodoo. Palo Santo, you still do this shit. Crystals, stones, gems, it's all tied into your indigenous spirituality. Your belief in reincarnation, afterlife, the crossroads, Papa Legba, all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's you still do hoodoo unknowingly. You know what I'm saying? You still do it unknowingly. Trust and believe that. And last but not least, though, before we wrap it up, um, so so before we wrap it up, man, I just really do appreciate y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Appreciate all the likes, the loves, the support, the shares. Really getting the algorithm jumping. Um, we really about to start doing our thing on YouTube more and more with these deep topics. We gonna keep the shit on TikTok like PG-13, rated PG. But when we start getting to like rated R and mature adult Tony and shit, we definitely gonna be here on YouTube. Um, because I am gonna finish up the Germany's Black Holocaust Part 2 tomorrow morning, probably, or probably not tomorrow morning, but probably a few days later. Because I like the YouTube videos to circulate get out there and circulate. You know what I'm saying? So YouTube would be spaced out there versus TikTok. So the next time we'll cover Germany's Black Holocaust and American Nazi Party will probably be later on this week. Um, Um, but so far with TikTok though, I got a couple of books of Mississippian that I'm gonna read to y'all, and a couple more relics and artifacts and stuff like that. So with that being said, man, look, I appreciate y'all for tuning in though. You said that's crazy. My mom always told me to save your hair so no one gets it. Yeah, that's deep. That's hoodoo. That's our shit. Yep. My grandma said the same thing. You burn it and everything. I'm about to do a new moon hoodoo ritual when I get off of here. Most definitely. Get back in tune to your stuff. We got to get back in tune to our hoodoo, our spirituality. Those are our ancestors waiting on us, man. Ain't nothing bad gonna happen to you. Now, unless your intentions ain't pure. As long as your intentions pure and you mean well, you all good, man. Your ancestors got you. There's no reason to be scared of your great great grandmama. You know what I'm saying? You said hoodoo and voodoo. What's the difference? Hoodoo and voodoo. The difference is, hoodoo is indigenous to America. Voodoo is a combination of a few cultures combining the spiritual practice together. It ain't really too much difference as much as the similarities, but there's a little bit of difference though. Hoodoo is about catching a spirit or releasing a bad spirit. You know what I'm saying? And a little bit more to it. But I will do more live breakdowns on the difference of hoodoo and voodoo, though. You know, my mind that's set on it right now, but you know, we will do the breakdown of it. They are similar and they are different in its ways. Mm. Oh yeah, check out that Hoodoo Mountain. It's deep. It's dope too. And that Hoodoo Mountain is deep and dope too. Now voodoo is not from Africa, Prince Dread. Voodoo is a combination of Muslim Naga indigenous culture with a little sprinkle of Catholicism in there. Versus hoodoo. In hoodoo, we don't use Catholic figures. We don't use no religious figures, no none of that. You know, hoodoo, there's no religious figures. There's nothing religious about it. It's pure spirituality. Voodoo, Santeria, and all that, you know, they like to use the Catholic figures and the Saint Marys and all that type of stuff. So there's certain differences between voodoo and hoodoo, but at the root of the practices is they damn near the same at the end of the day. For layman's terms, you know, just like how you and your cousin, y'all come from the same bloodline, but y'all still different. You know, if that makes sense. Yeah, voodoo is a religion and hoodoo is a practice as well too. Yes, it's kind of hard for me to talk about this because my mind wasn't really set on voodoo and hoodoo right now. You know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah, voodoo is definitely a mixed cultures. Yeah. Mhm. So, man, never forget. Never forget. Hey, research voodoo. Voodoo, our great spirit in voodoo is a naga. Dumbala. When you type in Dumbala, it is a naga. It's a half serpent, half human. So that's where I know that it's indigenously from America and indigenously from the Nagas, you know, just off of who our great spirit is. But I also can see the Islamic practices, influences by the Moors in there as well too. So when you say Damba, you know, that's indigenous. When you add Allah, Allah is Arabic for great spirit. Um, so which just signifies that the Moors brought Islam and Allah to the island, or whatever the case may be, you know, and then you sprinkle a little Sephardic Jew on top of there with the Catholic stuff and everything like that, and you get this big ass gumbo pot of spirituality. And then you got to also remember that a lot of Mississippians went to the West Indies as well too. So by the Mississippians going to the West Indies, we took hoodoo over there as well too. So now you got to add hoodoo. So you got to sprinkle hoodoo on top of voodoo, and then the now you got voodoo as we know it as this mixed cultural spirituality of all of our ancestors. So this is why that, you know, voodoo is still ours too, and your ancestors still tied to it. So this is where hoodoo and voodoo starts to intersect, and you know what I'm saying. So you can do both. You know, we have ancestors of both. You can do voodoo, you can do hoodoo. You can choose to just do hoodoo if you want to. You can do voodoo, but either way, these are our spiritual practices that they ethnicize from us, and we got to get back to it. You know what I'm saying? So, and ain't nothing wrong with it. Don't be scared of your ancestors. But with that being said, oh y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. You feel me? About to roll up. You know, get one in for the night. Jumping whoever about to go live next, and I see y'all there. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for the likes, the loves, the shares, the support. Shout out to shout out to Natural for checking in, shout out to OG Tribes, Chris, shout out to Tab, shout out to Cosmic Paradox, shout out to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? I really do appreciate y'all for doing that and swinging through whenever the gems is being prevented. I hope y'all learned something. I hope you gathered something. You know, I hope we connected something. I always want people to take something from these lives. I don't never want it to be wasted. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all know how we end it. Vibrate high. Peace, prosperity, abundance, gratefulness, gratitude, and appreciativeness. Practice serenity. Control what you can control. Let go of what you can't control, and have the wisdom to know the difference so you can balance out all karma in your past life, present life, and future life. Karmic retribution is what it's called. You did. Don't shelter the kids. Teach the kids what you didn't know. because the kids got a matrix of their own. They got robot teachers and sheep friends and shit like that that they battling with as well too. So guide them through this. Don't shelter them, you know. And always have a thirst for knowledge, because a wise man and a wise woman knows that they don't know everything. So always seek knowledge. And once you seek the knowledge, apply the knowledge. And with that being said, man, y'all enjoy y'all time. Peace. Be easy.